made our blue piping. Making sure you've got your fabric the right way up. And the next thing we need to do is to attach the piping. See, I made it far too long, but attach the piping to the side edge of the thing. Now I want to use a 1/2 inch line, so just getting my ruler a moment and saying, is that 1/2 inch? No, it more or less is, but to be on the safe side, I'm going to pin my piping on so that it's the edge of the piping is just protruding slightly above my outside edge. Yeah, because when I come to sew this, I want to get really close to my piping now to make it nice and firm. Okay, so I am gonna just bring that edge slightly over my piping. I'm not chopping off the ends or anything yet. Right, and I'm going to put a walking foot on because I'm now working through foam. So I'm going to put a walking zipper foot on so I can get right up to that line. If I turn it over, you can see, hopefully, that my tape is just a little bit proud of the fabric, because I don't want to make my seam allowance any smaller. Okay, and also what I tend to look at is how straight are we. Yeah, not too bad. That's on there, that's on there, that's on there. So I can tell by my flowers that we're going down and we're straight. Okay, all right, so
friends, your crew.
Oh, let me just turn something off.
Thing in the galaxy, literally.
I've sewn the piping on down the side. The secret to now, because if I show you this, if I turn that under now, see how nice and crisp that is. Yeah, and the secret to getting it nice and tight is, if your needle is coming down, just checking it, you can see what I'm doing. Okay, if your needle's coming straight down like that, slightly move your fabric at an angle so that you're pushing in to the fabric as it goes through. Yeah, don't keep it all straight all the way down. Your needle's coming straight down, so slightly move your fabric at an angle and push it through like that, and then you'll get nice and tight up to the piping. Then obviously you have to do the same the other end. Now the next thing we need to do are the end parts of the cushion, and I was thinking See, yeah, now I'm going to do it in the same fabric, yeah, but now let's get our little bolster back again, and I'll take measure wherever he's gone. And looking at the end of it, we can say that it is, I'd say it's a 5" that way, and yeah, roughly 5" that way. Check the other. I am gonna adjust it a little bit, but just so I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Oh no, see, this end's tighter than that end. Of course, we do know with these pillow forms that we buy, they're never correct in the first place. We're looking for to cover 5" to the middle, 5" across, so 2.5 being the radius, yeah, circumference, diameter's 5, so radius is 2.5. So from our, put this all out of the way for a moment, from our fabric we need to cut, there's still going to be the, what did we say it was? I'd say, well, 3" then. Put a 3" line on there. Again, because I want 19, and I want 2 either for either end of this pillow. So I am cutting my whole width of fabric, because at the end of the day I know that's 20 odd, but I mean 19 is close enough, isn't it? So then take that off. Here's my fold this end. Let's get rid of this fabric. There's my fold, ruler on. I'm just going to quickly take off 1/8 inch, which gets rid of the fold, because I want 2 strips, not one long one, so that gets rid of the fold. And then from put my it's 18, I want 18.5. Remember, I've got 2 of them. 18.5. 18.5. Yeah, because it's 18 round. So 18.5. 2 strips. 1 for either end of the bolster. Right. So I'm going to centralise that. Obviously right sides together with the fabric. And this time, rather than, yeah, well, no, I will actually clip it. I'm just going to clip. I'm just going to clip all the way down. Yeah. And then, and obviously we're going to do it both ends. So now in exactly the same way as we did before, keeping it nice and tight to that ribbon, but those edges matching as they go down the side, we're going to sew these edge pieces on as well. Now our piece looks like this, okay. The piping is nice and firm, yeah, and I'll show you the other side so you can see how that looks. So we've got this 1/2 inch seam, both sides. Okay. And then what we need to do is where our piping overruns, we can cut that square now. Now I know if we were doing a square cushion where you had two pieces of fabric meeting up, where the join was, you could peel back the casing, cut them so they butted up, and then tuck one casing under the other, and this, that, and the other. You could do all that, but this is going to be one long seam now, and it's practically impossible to do that. So how we deal with that is that we need to put one as best as we can on top of one another. All right. When it goes under the machine, one might slide to the side because of the pressure of the machine. It's going to be our bottom seam. This is going to be our bottom. So if it does, it does. Okay. There's not a lot we can do about that. But I don't think many people are going to turn the pillow over. All right. So we're now going to pin or clip this bottom seam together. We're now going to do a 1/2 inch seam across the top. I'm going to put a walking foot on because I got 2 layers of foam. If you're using the felt, the fusible fleece, you probably would need to, but I need to because of the thickness now of the foam. So I've done my 1/2 inch seam across the top. I did my best, but as you can see, they will end up side by side. There's not a lot we can do about that. Okay, so the next thing is now is turn it. It's quite easy because it's quite a fat tube. Even if it is foam, it's quite fat. Just turn the whole thing the right way out. Golly gosh. I've nearly got pattern matching here. Nearly. Very, very nearly. And that is entirely by accident. But I very, very nearly got pattern matching. Okay. So now, hang on, let me just get this end out. There we go. Where's the seam? There's the seam. Flatten all of that out. Right. So as you can see, that one's all right. It's about the best we can do. But I'd say to you that you're never going to sit with your pillow that way up, are you? So hopefully it'll be this way up. Now we need, almost sits on its own. That's why I like foam. Obviously with the fleece version it won't be as stable as that. Let's come back to our filling. Now I am just looking at it. Looks good. I just stopped this video here because I broke my very long needle which ties the buttons through the length of the pillow. But at this stage, you can take double button thread and, giving yourself 6 inches either end extra, lay through the cushion form before stuffing the case. Make sure you don't lose the button thread ends. I'm gonna now fill it, squish it one end, and I want the seam to sort of be on the bottom with that seam, so I'm going to try and put it in. And this is a bit like feeding a sausage. But you will get it in. If I can get it in halfway this end, then I can. My seam is already twisted, but anyway, I can get hold of it from the other end now, and I'm slightly twisting as I go so that I can get that join of the pillow form to twist around so that it's fitting, yeah, more or less on that bottom seam. So there, is that right? Could I put it a bit more? I want to make sure it's even on both ends. Yeah, I think that's even on both ends. So now is my quilted pillow. I said you were going to do some more of the stuffing. So in this end, yeah, I really want to put more stuffing in there and a bit more stuffing in there, so that when we close this up and pull it through, there is a little bit more padding than having it concave. Now you have it at this stage, you can reach in and find, well, I think I've done it this end, any tape, any of the painter's tape that we use to secure the pillow. Oh, I found some. And it's a very low tack, so you should be able to just reach in and find an end. And pull out the tape which was holding the pillow together, which allows the pillow then to expand a bit inside your form. Then the next thing you want to do is to thread some cotton, and as we did with the last one, just do a running stitch with cotton, about 1/4 inch down, all the way around the edge. But this time, before we put it all tight, we're going to put some added stuffing in. I don't want because I'm going to put a button on here. I've already made my buttons, and I don't want the buttons to be concave. I want the ends to be slightly puffy. Alright, so we're going to put a bit more fibre fill in, toy stuffing basically, before we close up this hole. So just do a running stitch around the outside. You'll see how this is coming together now. Right, back to where I began. So, mind my button. So see, we could put it tight, but when we pull that button through, it's going to make it a bit concave. So I just want to add a little bit of stuffing to that end. If you were doing the modified way of put the buttoning, or don't have a really long needle, then you should have 6 inches now overhanging either end, going through your cushion form inside the case. Yeah. So what I would say to you to do the one end of it now is to thread that onto a needle, so that when we put the stuffing into the end of the pad, you can bring those 2 threads through the stuffing, remembering not to lose the 6 inches the other end, but bring that through the stuffing, so that we're still continuing in that thread all the way through at this stage.
Many, many times. It's the people who saved mine.
Okay, so I've added the extra stuff in. I'm pulling it nice and tight, and then I'm going to do some cross stitches. Oh!
I do value your perspective, Michael. But
keeping it nice and tight. What have I done with my needle now? Here it is. Whoa. I'm just going back and forth, securing this the best I can.